What a night of wrestling. AEW Dynamite results for 12/30/2020, the final episode of AEW Dynamite for 2020, and also the Brodie Lee John Huber tribute show started off. We knew it was going to be an emotional night, and it totally was. They started the night off with a 10-ring salute. Tears started flowing right then and there. Then followed by John Moxley talking about Brodie Lee. That was very emotional as well. And I thought it was so fitting for him to be the first one to talk about Brodie and their time on the road and kids. And I think John Moxley really hit that promo, that straight from the heart. If you haven't had a chance to see it, it really kind of set the tone for the show. First matchup was the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana versus Matt Hardy and Private Party. Emotions running high. You could see Colt Cabana in tears when they came out. And honestly, and I tweeted about this was Colt Cabana's by far best match ever on AEW. Winner, Young Bucks and Colt Cabana. I gave this a 4. This was the elite match of the night. It was such a great way to start the show. Private Party was good. Matt Hardy, you know how I feel about him. But Colt Cabana really stole the show for me. The Young Bucks always put on a clinic anytime they're in there too, and it was just a great match, and I felt so happy for Colt Cabana because we've been kind of low on Colt Cabana, but man, he put on a clinic, a performance for the ages on that match. So the Young Bucks and Colt Cabana kick off the show, and they're our elite match of the night. I gave this one a 4. Darby Allin checks in talking about Brodie Lee wanting to, he never had an ego, and one guy he always wished he could wrestle. Next up, we had Eddie Kingston, Butcher and Blade versus Lance Archer, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. Lance Archer comes out in the Brodie Lee, Luke Harper get-up, which I thought was great. And I thought, too, I was like, man, that shirt isn't dirty enough. You need to get that shirt dirty. To really get the Luke Harper look to it, but he came out. That was great. Another fantastic match. Winner, Lance Archer, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson. I also give this a 4. These wrestlers were on fire. I mean, Stu Grayson was on fire. Evil Uno was on fire. Lance Archer was on fire. Butcher and the Blade, Eddie Kingston came out, talked a little trash too, and they went at it. And again, all these guys, veteran good guys, went in there and just totally killed it. That's all I could say about that first hour of wrestling. Everything was on point, exciting, and these guys were on fire, and it was just great to watch. Then we had more wrestlers talking about Brodie Lee. Bryce Remsburg talking in the promo saying if there was a Mount Rushmore of wrestling dads, Brodie Lee would be on the face. I mean, he was completely emotional talking about Brodie Lee and their time and hanging out together. Again, still emotions running high. Then we got a tag match, MJF, Santana, and Ortiz versus Hangman, Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. Still emotions running high with all those guys. MJF comes out with the Santana and Ortiz gear, which I thought was a great twist. And MJF went right up to -1, which is Brodie Lee Jr., and started talking trash to him. So you knew something was going to go down. And by the way, MJF still talked trash about him after the show. Then the most holy cow moment of the night, Eric Rowan. Remember him from the Wyatt family and the Bludgeon Brothers. He comes out and takes on Wardlow. That was awesome too. The crowd was going nuts. Winner, Hangman Adam Page, John Silver, and Alex Reynolds. -1 got involved, hit MJF with a kendo stick. You knew it was coming, which was a great pop too. And again, another fantastic match. I gave this one a 4. They were just killing it in the first hour, just on fire. It was a great tribute and great wrestling throughout. I mean, John Silver was crushing it. He put on one move on MJF, I think it was, where even Chris Jericho was like, well, I've never seen that before. I mean, just on fire. All these guys, motions running high, but wrestling their what's off. So that was a great match. Next, we get the tag match, Anna Jay, Tay Conti versus Dr. Britt Baker and Penelope Ford. This one, winner Anna Jay and Tay Conti. I gave this a 3.5. This was a good women's match. We've talked about the women's division at length before, getting better. I mean, it's somebody for like Anna Jay, who is relatively new. I mean, she just continues to improve and to be putting her in there with Britt Baker. I mean, Britt Baker, to me, is probably the better of the 4 wrestlers. Penelope Ford looked good. Tay Conti looks vicious out there. She looked okay, too. She looked good as well. And it was a well put together match. I mean, they got a lot of the commercials in between that. But it's still, I thought it was a good match, and I was definitely interested. I thought maybe Dr. Britt Baker could take it, but Anna Jay and Tay Conti with the win there. Chris Jericho talks about Brodie. Again, another great story from him. Bring Brodie Lee, John Huber into AEW, so there's a great thing about that. Also, the next match, tag match, Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, and Preston 10 Vance versus Team Taz, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, and Powerhouse Hobbs. I was like, wow, we're getting this one early. We're going to go long. What's going on here? And again, just another great match. I gave this a slightly less. Cody Rhodes, Orange Cassidy, Preston Vance with the win. I gave this a 3.75 just because I thought the other matches were so great. This one, I mean, again, you had some commercials in there, so it was messing with the flow. Preston Vance looked great in this match, just tearing it up. Orange Cassidy was good. I mean, right when Orange Cassidy does his gimmick, they were going to commercial, which kind of screwed up the flow a little bit. But it was still a great match there. too. Then after the match, we get Darby Allin and Sting appear. Everybody's freaking out about that. They come out the same door, wonder what's going on there. And then I'm still looking at the time, is that there's still time left in the show. We then come out Cody Rhodes. I mean, just emotional, trying to keep it together, doing a Brodie Lee tribute. His son comes out, wife and other son comes out. They talk, hand him over the TNT title, and then we get a closing package on in memory of John Huber. So it was a fantastic night of wrestling, a great tribute show. I mean, Vince McMahon, bro, you better watch out because Tony Khan knows what he's doing. And a lot of those WWE fans, I'm sure, and Luke Harper fans came over to listen and watch and see the tribute to Brodie Lee. So I'm really curious, if watching this type of wrestling, about being like, wow, this was a lot. As emotional as it was still a lot of fun to watch. Will they convert to AEW fans in the future? Card for next week's January 6th, AEW Dynamite, New Year's Smash Night, number one. Of course, everything got pushed back because of the tragic death of Brodie Lee in a tribute show. Same thing as last week when we talked about it, AEW World Championship match, Kenny Omega versus Rey Fenix. Super excited about that. A tag match, Young Bucks and SCU versus Acclaimed in the hybrid. I believe this was added. I don't remember them talking about this last week. These tag matches that they've been having has been really good. So we'll see how that goes. Chris Jericho will be back on commentary. He did a good job on Dynamite this week. Snoop Dogg will appear. He was scheduled to appear this night, but it was supposed to be night 2. I guess with him, they're just going to put him on night 1 instead. We get Jake Hager versus Wardlow singles match. I'm looking forward to that, seeing how that goes. We got the singles match, AEW's Women's Championship, Hikaru Shida versus Abaddon. I'm really excited about that one. That's going to be a great match. Jon Moxley returns to AEW. We'll hear what he has to say. Of course, he did a vignette, but he didn't appear on in live in person. He'll be back. And then, of course, in 2 weeks, we got, I don't know, this came out that it's Pac versus Eddie Kingston, perhaps. And we've got stuff FTR and Darby Allin, and I guess these are the people who will be involved. Maybe we'll get Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker, and who knows what else will go on next week. But we got Darby Allin versus Brian Cage for the TNT Championship match. And then, of course, Cody Rhodes versus Matt Sydal. That's all coming in 2 weeks. AEW Dark results for December 29th. This is the last Dark of 2020. They did not have any pictures. Usually I like to do pictures along with AEW Dark, but they didn't have any. I think they were just really playing low-key because of everything going on with Brodie Lee, and they wanted to get that show ahead. So they did not post any pictures. We got Ray Phoenix versus Vary Morales, winner Ray Phoenix. Lindsay Snow versus Penelope Ford, winner Penelope Ford. Dark Order, John Silver and Alex Reynolds versus Sean Dean and Tyson Maddox, winner Dark Order. Anna Jay versus Jasmine Allure, winner Anna Jay. Dr. Britt Baker hosted the waiting room with Matt Seidel. Ryzen, Nick Comarto and James Tapia versus Team Taz, Starks, Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs, winner Team Taz. Fuego del Sol versus Griff Garrison. I was like, whoa, is Fuego going to get the win? But no, Griff Garrison got the win in that one. And Peter Avalon seems to took a little liking to Griff Garrison. We'll see how that goes. Santana and Ortiz versus Terrell and Terrence Hughes, winner Santana Ortiz. Aaron Solo versus Sammy Guevara. Sammy gets the win. Chaos Project, Luther and Serpentico. Something going on with those two. Maybe they could be breaking up soon versus Ariel Levy and El Suevo del Puerto Rico. Chaos Project took the win there. Leva Bates versus Maddie Rinkowski. Leva Bates takes the win. Danny Limelight versus Matt Seidel. Seidel takes the win. Take Conti versus Vert Vixen. Winner Take Conti. Royal Money, Baron Black and Mike Verna versus the Gun Club. Billy, Austin, and Colton. Winner the Gun Club. And finally, SCU wins. Christopher Daniels, Frankie Kazarian versus Hybrid 2, Angelico, and Jack Evans. So SCU is not breaking up anytime too. And that's AEW Dark for this week.